You know, my next guest is he's going to be headlining UFC Fight Island 8 coming up here on January 20th against Neil Magny. It is Michael Chiesa back here on the program. Mike, how's it going?
It's good to be talking to you, James. It's good to be back on. And, you're the guy I want to talk to right now. I'm jamming some vids during my my downtime in quarantine, so it's good to be talking to you again.
Well, I appreciate that, man. And I love the toque. I know in America you call them beanies, right? That's what you're wearing right there?
Yes, sir.
Little Canadian lesson. We call them toques in Canada, so there you go. So I don't know if you knew that or not.
No, but it's good to know when when the borders open back up and I can head back up to BC. So it's good to know.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you got to come up here. It's great. It's good to see you back, man. You know, it's been over a year since, I guess, when you step in the cage. I know you had some injuries and some other stuff going on, but for those who might not know, what has been keeping you out of the cage for so long?
Well, first and fourmost, the pandemic hits, and that definitely slows things down. And it was especially frustrating when the sport, within 6 weeks after the pandemic, the sport starts opening back up, guys start fighting. And it was really at that point, it was just taking a fight was just out of the question. Just because, all the gyms, I'm in Washington State, we're finally opening gyms on Monday. Lockdowns were pretty strict in my state. And then, I had to have surgery as well. So the surgery was supposed to be a lot smoother than it was, and that just kept me out of training for a while. And you know what? It's good to be back. I'm glad those days are behind me. It was very challenging. It was very trying, especially the most frustrating is when you get like the double whammy, like the sport's moving on during the pandemic, and you couple that with the fact that I'm having to sit on the sidelines with an injury. It was just kind of like the 1-2 shot. So I recovered. I'm back. I'm excited to be in this main event on the 20th.
Yeah, and as part of it, I mean, you're a pretty active guy, right? So I'm like in terms of fighting. So was it kind of nice to be able to reset a little bit? Maybe, look at some things that you might have not been able to look at, whether it's training or even just, healing up those bumps and bruises. Like I'm sure that if you're taking a glass half full of the past year, I'm sure that's probably it, right?
Yeah, dude. And the other thing too is like people are like, oh, he's only fought, once a year like I don't fight very often. And it's like, the Condit fight was UFC 232. I fought Diego Sanchez in July. And even in between those two fights, I had to have stem cell treatment on my shoulder. I tore my labrum. It was toast. And then I fought RDA in the 25th. So it's like a 13-month span. I had 3 fights. So a lot of people on pay, when you break it down by the numbers, I haven't been that inactive. So it was good to reset the body. And this is a surgery I'd been putting off, man. It's just like it's something that's been lingering. I've been dealing with pretty much the better half of my life. So it's something that I'm glad I took care of it. It hasn't held me back in training. This camp has been great. And, it's just a perfect time for me to come back. I wanted to come back sooner, and I still wish I could have came back sooner. But the past is the past. I'm looking ahead, looking forward to this main event.
How annoying is it, though, on social media when I'm sure you see other guys in your division calling names out saying, hey, I want this fight. And it's like, look, I got to recover. I got to make sure I can actually train. Like, did you pay attention to any of that where you're seeing, all these guys sort of say, I want to fight this guy in the division?
It was impossible not to. I mean,
yeah.
I had nothing going. I couldn't train.
Right.
There's not a lot I could do, So it's like, of course I'm seeing all this stuff as it's coming out. And even if I could compete and I wasn't injured and there wasn't a pandemic or just any of that stuff, I just really don't respond to it. It's just like, I just don't want to engage in it, man. I think it draws out a bad side of me. And I don't even necessarily think that that's bad for me from a competition standpoint. I just don't like that. I don't want to be known as that guy that's a talker. You know what I mean? I'm a good competitor. I can compete with the best of them. I'm one of the best welterweights in the world. And, I don't need to talk. I just need to fight. So, I see these things as they get said, and I just choose not to say anything. I'll compete hard, I'll win big fights, and that'll get me into the big fights. So I just try to stay out of that stay out of those conversations, stay out of the heat, and I'll even refrain from saying certain things that might just even disrupt the fans. Like if there's something controversial, like I never try to dive into the controversies or anything because I just don't want to disgrunt people. I just want to stay in my own lane, focus on myself, and I think it's just better for me.
So you find out you're fighting Neil Magny, and then, of course, they make this the main event with Chimaev out and them looking like they're going to reschedule that fight with Leon Edwards. I talked to Neil Magny. He said it was a pretty easy negotiation. Was it the same way on your end?
Yeah, there is no negotiation. It was just like, yeah, let's do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I know Neil's the same way. He's a fierce competitor, great human being, awesome guy what a guy to share my second main event with. You know what I mean? And I'm really looking forward to it. So, especially when it's almost better for me in a sense, James. Like I train really hard and, I would still want a long notice for a main event, just to know, but it's like when they call me 3 weeks out from the fight, and they want to put me in the main event, it's like, this is almost better because my body is not as run down. You know what I mean? I put myself through the grinder as it is with just how I train for a regular fight. And, just these last 2 weeks before getting here, just taking it up a notch. It's like my body's responded so well. It's almost better that it worked out this way instead of having my first camp back in a year. My first camp be a 5-round camp. Who knows what would have happened? I'm healthy. I'm injury free, and it just worked out perfect. You know what I mean? So no complaints. Everything was smooth. I just thought I was going to lose Neil as an opponent. That was my biggest concern. I'm like, I feel like him and I have kind of been eluding each other in a sense. Like we've kind of had our eye on each other and wanting to compete, wanting to fight and things like that. So I'm like, I'm going to lose him to, he's going to go on and fight Chimaev. And I think Neil's a tough matchup for either of those guys. Or he would have went on to fight Leon, not Chimaev. But I just thought I'd lose the matchup. So I'm glad we're able to do this. Maybe have a beer afterwards or something, but it's going to be a fun scrap.
Style-wise, how do you feel like you match up against him here?
Stylistically, James, I'm a very confident guy. I'm confident in my skills, and I think I match up great against anybody in the division, especially in the top 15. So, I don't really feel like there's no glaring weaknesses in Neil's game. A lot of people wouldn't say the same for me. A lot of people think that there's a huge deficit in my stand-up or just other certain areas, whatever. But I think he's a very well-rounded fighter. I think he does pretty much everything very well. So, I like the challenges that he presents, but I think that I can match him. So there's only one way to find out. We just got to go out there and fight. So I'm really excited for the opportunity to test my skills against his.
Who have you had a chance to work with for this camp in terms of bodies in the gym, getting ready for this fight?
Well, here's the thing. This is where it gets tricky is, I'm not usually I'm very open to like, I'm going to go out and I'm going to go wherever I got to go to find the body I need to find. I'll come down to Las Vegas to go to Syndicate, or I'll go to VFS and Mike Valley's gym or things of that sort. But it's like, I had to just kind of play it safe. You know what I mean? I haven't had COVID-19 yet, and neither of my coaches, neither have, I got Austin Arnett and Sam Cecilia here in my corner. Neither of them have had it. So I didn't want to take any unnecessary risks in terms of going outside of my comfort zone. Like I can control my environment when I'm training at home. We kept the group small. We kept it controlled. And, I did make it out of Spokane. I went to train in Tucson, went to Joey Rivera's gym, who, he was actually on the same season of Tough as Neil. And that wasn't really the reason why. It's because Tyler McGuire, my old teammate from Spokane, he got restationed down in Tucson. So it turns out he trains at Joey's gym. So they kept some close quarter private training sessions for me. So we went down for a few days, but no big names, no big moves, no big extended amounts of time anywhere. Played it really safe, man. That's the most important thing with this fight, is to just make sure I'm healthy. So I got some looks from some tall guys. A lot of my teammates are around my height, 6'1" So, and getting those looks down in Tucson from some taller guys was good. So, I played it safe, but I'm very prepared.
How about the weight cut? Because you got to travel for this. Thank God it's not 155 anymore, right? I know those days are long behind you, but I imagine the cut's going well, even being off as long as you have. Yeah.
Dude, my weight's been great. I mean, I posted a picture today. My coach was like scrolling through some old photos. I posted a picture of like when I was cutting weight for Jim Miller on my story. And I have a bunch of people like, dang, dude, I hope you're okay. I hope your cut's going good. That picture is 5 years old. I did it just to kind of stir a little ruckus. But yeah, my weight's good. I think, I think when I left, I was about 190, so I'm probably maybe a couple pounds bigger. Still got some creatine in my body, holding some water. I think by the time I shake off the flight, I'm going to be within, 12 pounds, 13 pounds or something like that. So it's not an issue at all. You know what I mean? I like to have a little bit of a weight. What would a fight week be without a little weight cut? I wouldn't know what that's like. So
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. So the weight's good. You know what I mean? The weight's good. Not an issue. Yeah, man. It's just good to be. I'm glad that I was able to make it back. As weird as it sounds, I wanted to compete in this circumstance. As I'm seeing everybody else do it, I'm like, God, this is such a weird time to be alive. And it's like, I want to have part of the story of my career that I tell on, move on to tell my kids, my grandkids, nieces and nephews and everybody, like, oh man, this one time I had to fly to Fight Island and fight this guy in a main event during a pandemic. It's like something I really wanted to do. So I'm just very thankful, and I have a lot of gratitude to be in a fight week, doing interviews, talking to you, getting ready for a big fight. So it's just good to be back.
Now, who's going to be making the trip down there with you to Abu Dhabi? Because that's a tough ask, because, right, they got to quarantine and do all that, right? It's not like before where it's like, hey, you're just coming for the weekend, right?
I got the chief in command, as always, Rick Little. He'll be there, and then he's got Julie Pena a few days later. So I'll have Rick Little with me, and then my two right-hand men, Sam Cecilia and Austin Arnett.
Nice.
Yeah. So I got the boys, dude. It's good. And, I left the fiance at home. I had the extra corner spot, and by all means, I would not put my fiance in the corner. Wouldn't want to do that, and neither would she. But I was like, man, I got this extra spot. I could bring her, And I'm like, let's just keep it small, keep it concise. These are the guys I've been with these guys my whole career. These are the people that I fight for, and they know me as a fighter. They know they can read my body language better than anybody. So these are the people that I need with me, and we were able to make it happen. So I'm just fortunate that they were able to make the trip. All these guys got kids. They all have fairly young kids as well. So.
I was going to say, because Arnie's not a new dad, but he's I don't know how old his little one is now, but I know it was fairly recently that he became a dad, right? So
yeah. Scarlett's very young. So, and Sam's daughter's a couple years older than her, I think. And then Rick, he just had a newborn. He's less than a year old. And these guys were able to make the trip. So that just shows the level of commitment that we have to each other. It's just, it's awesome. It's perfect. Everything's working out just great. You know what I mean? Like I'm pinching myself. I'm like, weight's good. I'm not injured. I'm able to have the guys I want here in my corner. It's just, this is awesome. The stars are aligning for a very, very good fight. So it's just awesome, man.
You mentioned all the people around you having kids. Is your fiance, is there any pressure there at all? Are we going to see Michael Chiesa, the dad, in the near future, or no?
Yeah, right now, man, no. I mean, she just started a new career. She just got into real estate, and she's been doing it about a year. And I want to be kind of done fighting. I've made it this long in my career without having a kid. And I think you're not too old to have you're never too old to become a parent. And, I want to compete for myself. I don't want to have to do it for, to fight for college tuition and stuff like that. I'd rather just do it for myself and my personal goals, but hey, accidents happen. So who knows, man? Maybe I come home on a win and something happens. Next thing you know, I'm having this conversation with you next camp. Like, oh, hey man, I'm about to have a kid. Shoot, you never know. Life will throw you any type of curveball, so we'll see. But just off the top of my head right now, kids are not in the future. My mom and my family, my family's going to hate watching this interview because they hate when we're like, yeah, we're not having kids. They're like, oh, come on.
Yeah. No, listen, I think I became a dad when I was 32, 33 around there. So it's, there's no rush. You just take your time. It's all good. So
you're older than me.
I am older than you. Yeah.
I never would have guessed. I thought you were younger than me.
I'll take it. I'll totally take it. I've had people say, no, that's good. I had someone the other day tell me, I was 26. So I was like, I'll take it. I just turned 36 actually on the 31st. Wow. So
I mean that in a very complimentary way.
Good. My wife will like that too. I'll mention that to her as well. I always remind her how youthful I am. There you go. But back to your fight, January 20th, 5-round fight. How's this one playing out? How do you envision the fight going down?
It's going to be tough. Neil's no slouch. This guy's game, and more rounds plays into his game already more than it does already. So I think that this fight's going to be tough. It's going to be gritty, but I'll fight fire with fire. I'll take this fight as deep as I have to get the win. But no matter what, I see my hand getting raised, and I can say that very confidently. So I expect a very good, masterful performance. I got to remind these people who I am and why I'm here. You know what I mean? 9 years in the UFC. I've been top 10 in 2 different weight classes for a reason. I won one of the toughest seasons of The Ultimate Fighter. I got to remind these people who I am. Neil's no slouch. He's tough. He's gonna bring it. He's gonna give me as tough of a fight as anybody could in this division. But I'm gonna get my hand raised on Wednesday night. I almost said Saturday night, but I can't screw up my promo. Wednesday night
for sure.
Wednesday morning.
That's
Shoot,
right.
I'm all screwed up. I screwed the whole thing up. Usually you ask me if there's any video games I'm playing right now.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah.
So I'm on the Nintendo Switch,
playing
Hyrule Warriors by myself. But today, Rube dropped off some new video games for me at the hotel, and I picked up the new Streets of Rage 4.
Oh, it's so good. Have you played it yet?
Yeah, me and Sam, I was jamming it before I got on, and then we both died, and I was like, oh, shit, I got to go. I got to do my media. But it was perfect timing because I knew you always ask about video games. But, yeah, we're getting down. Streets Rage 4. Me and Austin got through Donkey Kong finally.
Oh, you did? Oh, good. When did this happen?
I think it was at my house, and we were finally just like, dude, I'm not waiting until my next fight. We need to sort this out right now. So we got. Well,
you can get it on the Switch too now. They have all the downloadable games. Because I just got a Switch recently too, and it's changed. It's amazing. I love it. So.
It's so fun for traveling. It's just perfect. Yeah. So it's a bummer you're not in Fight Island. We'd be up there.
I can't leave the country. Canada. We're stuck. We're stuck. Man. I haven't been to the U.S. since Colby and Usman. That was the last time I was in the U.S. was in Vegas for that fight. So there you go.
What do you miss most? What do you miss most about America? That's why I have one question.
You know what? This is going to be a really bad answer. I'm 5 minutes away from the Washington State border, and there's a little strip of land called Point Roberts that like it's literally like super close. And gas is cheaper in the U.S. than it is here in Canada. So if I go across the border, I get cheaper gas. I'm getting killed this last year with gas because in BC in particular they have a carbon tax, so it's way more expensive. It sucks. So yeah, just gas guzzling that. So yeah,
sorry to hear that, brother.
That's one of the things I miss. But yeah, I miss a lot of stuff. But that's actually going to be one of my last questions. This is my last question before we go. I don't think we've talked since the Seattle Kraken have become a thing. They're now the new NHL team. Are you going to be going to be a fan? Or are you going to be going to any of the games when they come to fruition?
100%. Yeah, okay, I'm all about it. Yeah. So release the Kraken, dude. That's going to be sick. And leave it to Seattle to have crazy fans. So you can only imagine that place is going to be electric. So super excited. Now just bring back the Sonics and we can. Seattle
I think, you know what, Mike, don't quote me on this, but I think it's going to be a domino effect. I think once they see how good hockey is and how good that sports market is, I think they're going to get the Sonics back. That's my prediction. I bet in our lifetime, we're going to see the Sonics back. That's my hope.
It better be in our lifetime, James, and I'll meet you there. We'll go. I don't even know if it's Key Arena anymore. But whatever.
No. They built a new arena. That's why I think it'll work, because that was the whole issue is they had that crappy arena, right?
Yeah, dude. And I remember going to UFC there, and it was rough. You know what I mean? Definitely needing an upgrade. So I didn't know if they were going to name it the Key Arena again, assuming it's going to be something new. But they keep extending the deadline on the build. So, it'll happen in our lifetime. We'll have to catch a game.
I got a Gary Payton jersey I got to dust off and wear. So
I got a Durant and I got a Sean Kemp. So
Sean Kemp's one of the best. We haven't talked since the proposal. Were you more nervous for that than some of your fights, or how did it go?
Yeah, it was like a fight. Yeah, it was definitely like I was getting nervous before, trying to find the right setting and stuff. I was like trying to find my opening in a fight to get a takedown, but found my right opening, got the takedown. She said yes. Now I'm off the market.
Good for you. Mike, thanks so much for doing this, man. This was awesome. Yeah. I know we went way over time. Anyone you want to thank, any sponsors, any social media, I'll give you the last word.
Just my teammates, my coaches. I don't want to drop too many names because I don't want to get anybody in trouble with COVID guidelines in Washington, but everybody knows who they are. And I appreciate you for giving me the time.